I was wondering, what is this unfair, ruthless, surly campaign against Turkey? What did Turkey do to deserve this unfair campaign? Is it retaliation from the countries of conspiracy after their plot had failed? The plot of coup, which costed something like $12 billion, sponsored and supported by a Gulf country? What is this Lebanese campaign against Turkey? Certain goods should be boycotted. What is this for? I'm Lebanese, and I declare my rejection against the unfair Lebanese issue in terms of boycotting the Turkish goods. Or does my country move by a signal from Trump and his subdued leaders? All people nowadays are taking Turkey as asylum, a country of peace, an alternative country for those who had suffered oppression and torture and persecution in their own countries. Erdogan personally is not my target. It's not my concern. My concern about Erdogan is that he leads 70 million people. Most of them are Muslims. I'm not caring about Erdogan. I do not look at Erdogan as a person, but what interests me with Erdogan is the returning of 70 million people gradually, step by step, to Islam. This is what really interests me. Despite, is he a man of mistakes? Sure. But he came with a big, heavy burdens of mistakes that preceded him, and he has to strive to deal with it. He is a man of mistake, yes, but he is better than the one who boycotted Islam. He's better than the one who prevented Islam from 70 million Muslims. Unlike those who say we're Muslims, but their campaigns go simultaneously with the campaigns of the enemies of the Muslims, while they're pretending to be very jealous for Islam. Islam is the religion of fairness and justice, but politics do not acknowledge justice, except little. That's why when the Prophet allowed his companions to migrate from Mecca, he said, go to Ethiopia, because I heard that there is a fair and just king upon whom people will not be dealt unjustly with. So we need a just person. So those who are setting their campaigns against Erdogan, they should be remembering how their campaigns are going side by side with the campaigns of the enemies of the Muslims. They should remember that they before had set many campaigns against Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was ruthless as well. But now people wish that he's still ruling Iraq. Look at Iraq. What happened to Iraq? Not only me, who wish Saddam to remain as a leader over Iraq, but even the Shia of Iraq. They say, compared to the situation of the people in Iraq before, we wish that Saddam Hussein is still here. Because when Saddam Hussein died, Iraq had been destroyed. And now Iraq is between the hands of thieves, sectarianists, tails, puppets for the West. They control the oil of Iraq, just like the way they desire, not only them, but just like the West desire and to get. This is a fact. So let's get back to the barking of the dogs of the sultans, the leaders. The barkings against Erdogan. As I mentioned, it is going simultaneously with the campaigns of the West against him. Why is that? Because of the failure of the coup against him. Through who? By America. Who did America use? A Sufi person whose name is Fathullah Gulen. They say, well, Erdogan is a Sufi. Oh, wait a minute. Well, he has a problem with another Sufi now. Why didn't you take advantage of this? a disagreement between a Sufi and another Sufi. Yalla, if you are Salafis and you really care about the pure doctrine of the people, well, take advantage of it. There are 70 million Muslims in Turkey, okay? So if you want to amend and to purify their belief, take advantage of this. Nowadays, there is a disagreement between the Sufi leader and the Sufi betrayer. There's a difference. Even if they are both Sufis, there is a Sufi who is surrounded by all campaigns in the world against him, and another Sufi who are being used against, not against only Erdogan. No. A Sufi is being used by the West who is not happy with Erdogan because they want secularism to return. Unlike the current secularism, no. If Turkey returned to the previous secularism, it means no more hijab. For tens of millions of Muslims who used to be protesting against this issue. And thousands of them were thrown in the jails, and many of them got killed. So, mashallah, now you're going to be, mashallah, good Salafis. You'll be happy that Turkey returned to the previous secularism. No hijab. MashaAllah, what a great Salafis you are. Where was your effort in amending and purifying the doctrine of the Turkish people, bringing them out of Sufism? Now you remembered Sufism and the shrines that, just like the recent opening for the shrine of Muhammad al-Fatih. Okay, now they're making campaign. Look at this. He refurbished the shrine of Muhammad al-Fatih. Wow, no. Well, look, I'm a Muslim and I say, the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there is no one is allowed to oppose the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no matter who, be it Erdogan or any other person. The Prophet said, you should not be building shrines over the graves, period. You love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you should obey him. This is the condition of the love, that you should obey him. I am a Salafi and I say that. But wait a minute. Oh, you who claim that you are Salafis and you care about Tawheed, you only mentioned Erdogan regarding the shrine of Muhammad al-Fatih. You did not talk about the temple of Hindus that costed billions. It was plated by gold. And it was a gift given by Muhammad ibn Zayed to the Hindus. By this, the worship of the... Instead of eating the cow, now the cow is being worshipped. Instead of being slaughtered, the cow in Emirates is being now worshipped. Where's your Salafi da'wah now? Tell me. Where's your Salafi? You are Salafis, but your targets are going simultaneously with the targeting of the enemies of Islam. To those who claim that they are following the Salafi method, I say to them, while I'm Salafi also, if I saw a surrounded leader, being surrounded by the campaigns of the enemies of the Muslims, I'll keep my mouth shut until he will be victorious against them. I'll keep my mouth shut until his enemies will be stopping their campaigns against him. I'll keep my mouth shut. I do not allow myself to stand beside them. So they will be victorious against him, and it will be recording on myself that I was victorious with the enemies of the Muslims against the Muslims. This is the true Salafi way which Sheikh Al-Albani had outlined and declared before. He said, if the leader of the Muslims are being surrounded by the enemies of the Muslims, then you should not be showing enmity and criticism against him. I'm not with the blind Salafi, falling down, compromising, inclining with the money of the politicians. I'm not that kind of Salafis. If I do, I am a liar in claiming that I'm jealous, I'm really jealous for Islam. No. I'm not that type who who obey those who are obeying the Americans and the Europeans. No. I'd rather also to keep my mouth shut. If I cannot speak against, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm not gonna be going wherever their waves go. No. I want you to just imagine this. Imagine that there's a war between a militant war, weapon war, life war between Erdogan and Greek. For example, where will you be standing? Will you be standing against Erdogan? You'll be standing against Erdogan for the favor of Greece. Why? He is inclining to Sufism, so you stand beside the Greek people against him. By this, we can come to a conclusion, a judgment. We can judge, we can give our judgment against those people or the campaigns that they are betrayers in the image of Salafis. I am with Erdogan, with his returning to Islam, bringing back Turkey to Islam. I'm not with him regarding Sufism. I am with Erdogan in his goals and schedule to save Turkey from its previous humiliating contracts with the West. I am with Erdogan, with his appointment for a new generation, a new departure starting from 2023. I'm with him regarding this. I am with Erdogan. If the enemies of the Muslims want to resign him, to sack him, to let Turkey return to the time of Ataturk. I am with Erdogan, who does not suppress his people, nor he throw them in jails, just like what others do. I am with Erdogan when he was accused that he has 1 million or more than 1 million in his account, and he said, I'm ready to resign if you found what you claim, and they could not prove what they claimed. I am with Erdogan. I am with Erdogan when he refreshes not only the economics of Turkey, but even the religion of Turkey. And he does not empty the treasure box of the country, spending it on yachts, on his personal pleasures. I'm with him in this. He didn't do that. I'm with Erdogan when all people agree to wage war against him, to show hatred against him. And we know exactly what is the reason behind this. If Erdogan was of the same attitude of Ataturk, he will be supported, just like the support Ibn Zayed getting by the Westerners. I am with Erdogan when the whole world stand against him. I do not support America with billions in order to conspire against him, against Erdogan, using this Sufi, Fethullah Gulen, as tools to get him resigned. Who did it? Well, the establisher of the worship cow in the Gulf, the peninsula. You know, the Muslim peninsula should not be consisting this. If these things happen in other Muslim countries, well, that's negotiable. But in the peninsula, which the Prophet purified from pagan worship, then you bring back the pagan worship, allowing people to worship the cow, just like what the Jews did when they worshiped the calf. Is this the true way? La wallah. I'm not with Erdogan in anything that he disobeyed the law of Allah. I free myself, but not from him. No, from what he opposed the religion of Allah. Okay? That's my faith. But where were you? Electronic fly, electronic insects. When the relationship between Erdogan and the king of Saudi Arabia was great. Where were you when their two hands were catching the other? Where were you? Where were you? Where was your campaigns against him? Now you remembered Sufism and shrines. You should have been talking about that before, but not now. So I have the right to judge your intentions. When I see your campaigns starting when the campaigns of the West started against him. Your timing is wrong. And it exposes the reality of your campaigns against Erdogan, which is not for the sake of Allah, but it's for the sake of the Gulf leaders. You should know yourself. You are electronic insects. When your barking will be going simultaneously with the barkings of the enemies of Erdogan. Why didn't you take advantage of the problem between Erdogan and Sufism? If you are really keen to correct people's dogmas and faith, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the disagreement between Erdogan and this big Sufi leader, Fethullah Gulen. America is taking advantage of Sufism to break Erdogan. You are exactly going with America and with Sufism, standing with America and Sufism against Erdogan. Your so-called jealousy is a fake one. It will be rendering Turkey to the time of Ataturk. Woe unto you. Your jealousy is a lie, is a fake. It's rejected because it came on the wrong timing. If you were really against Sufism, you'll be standing side by side with Erdogan, he's opening now the chance for everyone. He's opening Muslim schools. He's opening a lot of Arabic foundations and institutes to improve Islam in Turkey. He is now closing many Sufi schools which conspired with America against him. So, wait a minute. Are you with Imam Ahmad? Didn't Imam Ahmad say, if I have a responded supplication, I'll be sparing it for the leader of the Muslim? You are sparing your supplication to America against Erdogan. You should know who you are. I free myself from your way. I don't like Sufism. I don't like Naqshbandis. But at the same time, I don't like to stand with America against Erdogan. No, I'll be with him. If Allah help me someday, I'll be speaking the truth to him because I know, I can see him. He does not hate the truth. He accepts it. And I ask Allah someday to stand before him and to give him the advice. So I'll be standing before him at the day of judgment at the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I have spoken the truth with someone who likes the truth, unlike the others. This is my word that I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Finally, I would like to remind you, I do not accept that the campaign will be returning against hijab and many women will be thrown in jail because of that. I'm against it. By that you can tell who is the real jealous for Islam, for deen, for hijab, and who's not. I do not like to stand in the row of the Western countries who are observing accurately the returning of Turkey to the true religion, to the pride of being Muslim. Especially when I see that there are many corrections are taking place at his time. I will not be happy for the returning of Turkey to secularism. Sikh Islam is better to me than preventing Islam. If you say that there's sickness in the current Islam now, it's better for me than the time where Islam was prevented, disallowed, even the adhan. It was decided to be given in non-Arabic language, and people were really sad for that. And look, mashallah, the best thing I like with Turkey, okay? The great sound coming from the minarets saying Allahu Akbar. How many people, how many tourists are becoming Muslim when they hear the adhan? They should. I saw them. One of them recently is this Liam, the actress. He said, when I heard it, I said, wait a minute. Maybe this religion is true. Maybe this. He just said it, and I saw it. I saw his interview. I love to hear this adhan from all the Turkish minarets. If America took advantage of Sufism against Erdogan, why don't we take advantage of something else? Why don't we take the current campaign against Sufism which America used? Now you remember Sufism? Subhanallah. It's really, your attitude is very similar to the Sufis who have been used in history until today against Islam and against Muslims. And as they used to be subjugated by the politicians and the enemies of the Muslims, you are doing the same thing exactly. You're not Sufis, but your campaigns are Sufis now against Erdogan. All people in Turkey stood up at the side of Erdogan against even the Sufi sect that America had taken advantage with. Except you, so-called Salafis. Except you. Because your efforts and your act is conditioned, confined, limited by those politicians who allow you to bark. All of this proves that your attitudes and your campaigns is not for the sake of correcting, reforming, and it's not for the sake of Allah. Ironically, I've seen some posters or some clips given by some Gulf people say, oh, I've been robbed. I was in Turkey and people took my money. I was in Turkey and I saw a crime. So don't use your money. Don't go to Turkey. Please don't do that. Oh my God. How many people they got beaten up and stolen and got killed in America, in Britain, in Europe. Did you dare to say that? Did you say to people, oh people in Saudi, oh people in the Gulf, don't go to America? We had some Muslims there got murdered because they're Muslims. Do you say that? Did you say don't go to America? Shame on you. Wallahi, shame on you. And what is even worse is that they are bringing back some historical events that took place, okay? To bring back the hatred between Turkey and the other Muslims. So wait a minute. There were millions of deaths between Russia, America, Germany, Britain, France. A great war. First World War, Second World War, okay? Millions of people got killed. Most of Europe was destroyed. And now they are united. They forgot what happened between them. If the kafir are trying to forget what happened, they're ignoring what happened to them not long time ago, 7 years ago. Why are you trying to bring all the things regarding what happened before? Don't you remember this ayah? تِلْكَ أُمَّةٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ. This is a nation that had passed. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَلَكُمْ مَا كَسَبْتُمْ وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. For it is what it had earned, and for you is what you have earned, and you will not be asked about what they did. Why do you have to bring back these things that happened before, if it's true? Even if it's true, why do you have to bring it? You are servants for those who are servants for the West and America. This is the fact. I free myself from this way of Salafi. I free myself from that. These campaigns are Dahlani, Zaidi campaigns. It had taken place after the failure of the coup coup d'etat, which Ibn Zayed had supported and sponsored. Yes, I do not deny that a person has good sides and bad sides. And this is what I say about Erdogan. But to you is another issue. When politically you see something wrong with a person, okay, then you ignore the good side of him. This is not Islam. When Ibn Taymiyyah was decided to be put in jail by the decision of all so-called scholars at his time, some of them are Shafi'i, some are Hanafi, some are Maliki, etc. And they incited the Sultan, they provoked him against Ibn Taymiyyah, and as a result, Ibn Taymiyyah was put in jail. Now, political changes had taken place. Then there was a revolution against that leader who put Ibn Taymiyyah in jail. Okay? He was taken out. And the new leader now, he took Ibn Taymiyyah out of the jail. And he said to him, this is the least of those scholars who gave fatwa, a verdict that you should be put in jail or even killed. Just give me your signature. I'll put them all in jail and I will even be killing them. Now, the Sultan at that time didn't want to do it for the sake of God. He wanted to get rid of them because they were conspiring with the previous leader. So by a signature of Ibn Taymiyyah, he can justify for himself, at the Day of Judgment, he's saying, oh Allah, that was a scholar who gave me this fatwa to kill them. What did Ibn Taymiyyah say? He said, whoever harmed me, his harming is halal. I forgive him. But whoever harmed Allah and His Messenger, may Allah retaliate against him. And regarding those people, they're still scholars. Ibn Taymiyyah said, I kept praising them before him, fearing that he may be taking any word of me in order to kill them or put them in jail. He said, those scholars, they are scholars and people need them for their fatwa. And if you got rid of them, you won't be finding someone similar to them. Wallah, Allahu Akbar. This is the Salafi way. That is the Salafi way, not your way. Your way is filthy. I don't like it. I free myself from it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.